Welcome to my heavy metal ASMR channel. Today we're going to be doing some nice relaxing album ASMR. Now let's take the CDO. Hey guys, welcome back to Angel's Mortem Productions, ran by a guy with shitty taste and way too much time. Oh god. Alright, that was fucking weird, so let's just not waste any more time and get into the third episode of the London, Ontario underground metal series in Canadian Crypts. So in the previous two parts, I did death metal and black metal. I felt like those genres deserve their own videos because there's a lot of bands from those genres in London. But there's also other groups too. They have doom metal bands, they have symphonic metal bands, fucking god knows what else. So I just wanted to give all these bands their own video here in part 3, and I just hope all of you check out the music because it is just absolutely fucking killer. For those wondering maybe what all the abrasive noise is behind me, it's actually not my vinyl player not working. It is Dark Throne's Transylvanian Hunger, because I'm feeling kind of, I don't know, winter always comes early for me for some reason. I get into the mood before even fucking fall starts, so I'm feeling gloomy already. First band is one that just impressed the living shit out of me right out of the gate, and I'm super excited to talk about these guys, Solaris. Solaris, originally formed in 2012, is an absolutely incredible band. They just kind of descended from the heavens, played some of the sickest riffs that humanity has ever heard, and was like, yeah, how do you like that, bitch? Their debut album, Reunion, combines every single epic and melodic metal trope that the spectrum has to offer, and they still do it in such a way that makes it very, very original and fun. Before I get into Reunion specifically, I just want to say that I think that a lot of people mistakenly call Solaris a power metal band, and I understand why, you know? You have the clean female vocals and the shouty male vocals, you have the epic chords, you have all the symphonic elements underneath, and the lyrical themes about love and destiny and shit like that. I mean, it screams power metal. But Solaris actually does something a little bit different. They combine their sound with groove metal, melodic death metal, and they also have a bit of a symphonic metal, like Nightwish-esque influence, and that's all put together. So pretty much what you're getting is an extremely energetic performance, and every single song on Reunion delivers this full throttle. Seriously, these are some of the most badass riffs you've ever heard. The double bass, the kick drums, absolutely killer the way it's paired with all the strings. The vocals from Sarah are incredible. She is a very, very, very talented singer, and each track on here serves its purpose. There's bangers on here, there's slower kind of melodic segments too. It's just perfect. It's seriously perfect. And this brings me to the following incarnation of Solaris, titled Darkest Days. And Darkest Days is kind of where I had some yellow flags going up. Yeah. Don't get me wrong, I mean, Darkest Days is still a really good album. It's really tight, it's well composed, well thought out. I just personally think that we've kind of heard this before. Sarah D's vocals have improved immensely. I'm getting serious Amy Lee vibes from her, like she's just amazing. You can check out how she leads a song like Limbo.
Like I'm stuck in time, I don't know where to turn. It's like I'm lost in limbo, where there is no return. The doors are locked along the hallway and I don't have a key. Do I let to face my choices, or do I follow destiny?
And she also has a breathtaking performance in Holding On as well.
On blood-stained hands we can erase the pain from all our broken faith, suffocated by reality.
So Darkest Days isn't a bad album. I just think that I wish I heard something that would help me tell them apart a little bit more, because other than the production, this record is pretty much the same as Reunion. But still, I'm not bashing it at all. Solaris is a fan-fucking-tastic band, and you definitely should check them out, like, no doubt. Alright, I'm getting too emotional from all this fucking melodic, symphonic shit. Let's go back to the basics, okay? You want some death metal that's unfiltered, unhinged, unregistered? Ladies and gentlemen, you probably know them already, but this band is seriously one of London's biggest standouts, Tortured Saint. Tortured Saint is a band that I really don't want to put in a box because they do have a very original sound, and I don't want to just throw on a stupid label on them and call them whatever, but I just personally think that they combine all the cool things about metal and put them into one sound. The group has been around for about 7 years, and they released their debut EP around the time they formed in 2013. Yeah, this isn't really a bad EP. I think it's a great introduction to their potential, what they have going for them. A lot of the songs on there have remained classics for many old school fans that remember Tortured Saint back in those days. But I think that the real kicker was their full-length album, which, fuck, God. Message to the Throne. In 2018, Tortured Saint decided to completely fuck our brain cells. Message to the Throne is an album packed with aggression, violence, and a tough guy attitude that I usually don't really get from bands other than like Pantera or Lamb of God. It's not even sound-wise, I just get like, just gruff, you know? Some of this might stem from the fact that Tortured Saint uses a very heavy groove metal influence, or at least some of its tropes. I think that the way that the double bass and guitars are paired together is very groove metal-esque, and the vocals also have that shouty mid-scream kind of quality to them. But this is combined with a shitload of melodic elements and thrash metal. Between all the chugging grooves, there's a lot of melodic tremolo picking and solos. Gives every track that emotion. There's also a ton of breakdowns that appear on this album, and they don't sound cheesy at all. I think actually Tortured Saint's technical prowess comes out during these breakdowns or the build-ups to them, like on Goliath. Also, did I mention how every single member put in every single ounce of energy into making this album the coolest fucking thing you've ever heard? I don't think I mentioned that. The passion and love for metal is screaming at me from this record, and I think these guys really just sat down in the studio and wanted to make something truly bombastic. So you like your death metal punchy, melodic, fucking neck-breaking as hell, Tortured Saint, especially Message to the Throne, highly recommended. Now the next band is a little bit more old school, but you probably remember them because they did make a lot of noise back in the day, and they were signed to Roadrunner Records, which most likely makes them one of the most mainstream bands to come out of London, Ontario. But yeah, you probably remember Baptized in Blood. Yeah, I can't really pinpoint what exactly they're going for if I were to just really classify this, but honestly, I think the mixed bag is kind of a good thing. You see, in a way, it does give people more opportunity to listen to your music, because there's songs on here that are a lot softer and easier to get into, they're poppier, but then there's songs that are brutal as shit. So for someone like me that's into death metal and stuff, maybe I won't find a lot of songs on here that I can get into, but for someone that's more of a casual metal listener, I could see these guys being pretty popular. Their first album ever was called Gutterbound, and honestly, it's kind of surprising that this is a debut, because this sounds like a band that's been around for like way longer, and I don't know, it got them a record deal, so must have been pretty good. I personally don't really feel like getting too nitpicky, because this is just a record that aims to entertain. There's a lot of energy and fun creative thought put into Gutterbound, even though the name sounds like this might be some sick, sickly kind of fucking hardcore sludge metal shit. No, this is a very energetic band. There is that metalcore flair, but it's combined with a lot of different variations and experimentation that I wasn't expecting from a band like this. You're gonna find stuff on the guitars that you've never heard from a metalcore band do. Ever, ever, ever. There's all kinds of weird tapping and fucking melodic, like, sweep picking that goes into different kinds of, like, layers of shit, and then it goes into a whole new part where there's, like, a breakdown, and then the double bass kicks in, and then there's, like, dun, 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 like, I have no idea. There's even tracks that have kind of like this rock and roll flair, so it feels like I'm listening to like early 2000s metal music combined with like a Motley Crue show. It's a weird vibe, but it's good, it works somehow. But then in 2010, we got their self-titled, and this is kind of what drew the line for me. See, I think that the fun, crazy, energetic vibe that made Gutterbound so entertaining to listen to was replaced with just wishy-washy shit that just, I don't know, it makes it sound happy. I just honestly didn't get any brutal or aggressive vibes from this album at all. I feel like I should be at a pool party wearing fucking snapbacks with swag on them and multicolored tank tops. Baptized in Blood had a very promising start. I just don't think that their second album really did it for me. I know these dudes had a crazy following back in the day when they were still playing and doing shows, and you know, that's fine if that gives you nostalgia and you like the self-titled, whatever. I'm sticking to Gutterbound, that's just me. And the last band, I think I saved the best for last because these guys have probably the most brutal sound out of all of the bands I talked about today. And the weirdest name, hold on, let me just fucking... Yeti on Horseback. So as you can probably tell, this is the first doom metal band that we've talked about from London, or probably on the entire channel. Actually, I don't think I've ever reviewed doom metal in the entire existence of Angelus Mortem. Fuck. Hey man, I like doom metal, alright? Life can be way too fast sometimes. Sometimes you just gotta slow down. So yes, Yeti on Horseback formed in 2012, but because their two songs at the time, Psycho and Dragged Into Hell, were a total of 24 minutes long, they could get away with playing shows for a few years with only 2 tracks written. But then in 2016, I think the Doom Lords themselves must have washed over these poor man's souls, because they created an album so crushing, so brutal, so like weirdly foreboding and just like not what I was expecting at all. I just have no idea. It's called The Great Dying, and yeah, I feel a big dead coming right now. The main thing that Yeti on Horseback really emphasizes is atmosphere and suspense building. This isn't really the kind of like light a joint, chill out kind of doom metal. You will find nothing here but occult themes and an album that expresses all of humanity's qualms towards darkness and death and left-hand path temptations. There's songs on The Great Dying that are more disgusting than others. For example, Viking Mushroom Tea goes through this very long journey of the psychedelic progression of a berserker that just drank mushroom tea to prepare for battle. It's a really, really foreboding song, and it has like brutal parts, but then in the middle it kind of goes through like this psychedelic feel, and there's a lot of like noise elements to it. It's really bizarre, and it's long as shit too. Then there's songs like the aforementioned Dragged Into Hell, and it really just does sound like it's dragging. This track is so visceral. I don't know why I'm picturing like Pyramid Head from Silent Hill. Like if his sword could be an album or a song, I think it would be Dragged Into Hell. So yeah, I think I saved the best for last. Doom metal, everybody. Yeti on Horseback is a fantastic band, and I really, really think you should check them out. If you're into doom metal, especially if you're into doom metal that isn't chilled out, if you like something that's actually heavy and extreme, Yeti on Horseback provides that full front. Alright, all the links to the bands and shit are in the description along with my stuff. Peace, I love you all.